Johnson, the mover and the boxer, and Tapia, the aggressor. Now it is completely turned around.
Right, it has.
Now it's Tapia boxing and trying to move, and Johnson going after him, which Johnson's corner has urged him to do.
Johnson appearing much more like he wants to decide it with one punch.
Now there's the left hook to the body from Johnny Tapia that has been so dormant and absent in the last several rounds.
Very effective in the first round with that, and then it kind of went away.
John Michael Johnson is fighting in spurts, but I'll tell you, if I was in his corner, I would be really urging him to be a little bit more aggressive, and they have urged him to do that.
Yeah, he's not near as busy as he was, and it's come on suddenly. Still, he doesn't look tired.
He's not landing as effectively, throwing as many punches. Good right by Tapia. Good combination by Tapia. This fight has so many ebbs and flows.
It has. And now it is flowing in the direction of Tapia. Half a minute to go. Again, that time it worked. Fake left, go right. I don't know what that accomplishes, Al, because you're really never looking at the guy's head as a defensive fighter.
Well, something you can be, though, and it could throw you off.
We've got 2 to go here in Phoenix. Right back.
Well, it worked once, it will work again. Looks to the right, throws back. Johnny Tapia with that unorthodox move I mentioned earlier. It was used a lot by Lonnie Smith, the former junior welterweight champion, and Lonnie kind of popularized that.
Well, if you just joined us, I believe that's a slip. No knockdown. Both Tommy Morrison and Ray Mercer scoring first-round knockouts. Here we have the punch profile through 6 rounds.
Johnny Tapia throwing a lot more and landing some more. Well, I have Tapia ahead in his bout, so I would agree with that viewpoint of our punch profile.
Tapia with a good right hand there.
He is really starting to get that right hand in. And you mentioned that Johnson has never gone 8 rounds in his life in 6-1, so he may be feeling the heat. Good work downstairs.
I tell you, he's feeling those downstairs. Ooh. Digging to the body is Tapia.
Tapia better look out when he comes in, though. He's leaving himself wide open.
Johnson fighting back here, but he just hasn't been as busy in the last 2 rounds, and that is hurting him.
This is as long as Johnson has ever been. In fact, he's never been this distance before, obviously. So it's a place where he's trying to figure out if he can go.
And Al, I just saw him briefly drop his arms and shake his arms. I'm talking about Johnson as if to indicate that his arms are a little tired, and he was trying to get a little freshness to them. And he doesn't have the snap that he once did.
Tapia has been much busier in the last couple of rounds.
Tapia has retained his hand speed throughout the fight, where Johnson has not. And we've got 1 round to go. What has been a good fight.
Very interesting matchup of really 2 evenly matched fighters. Very important round coming up for John Michael Johnson. He could be facing his 4th loss as a pro, and doesn't want that.
And we're down to 1. Be back.
Johnny Tapia has been landing this right for the last 3 rounds. A tired John Michael Johnson keeps his hands down and gets nailed.
The crowd showing their appreciation at the start of this 8th and final round. Big hand from a big crowd. We mentioned 13,000 here at the State Fair in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's look at the punch profile in the last round. Tapia again landing more.
Widening that margin of total punches landed, and in my opinion, widening the margin of rounds that he has won also. And speaking of my scoring, as we were, there it is. I have Tapia had 68-65. Now that might be a little wider margin than some of the judges have. It could be much closer than that. My scoring is quite unofficial, as fans have come to know in recent months.
John Michael Johnson has just sort of stalled out here. He didn't come to an abrupt halt with respect to his offense, but he has just stalled out in the last 3 rounds.
And the Tapia right hand has become such a huge weapon. Now, I don't think Johnny gets as much leverage with that punch as he would like, or it would be doing even more damage. Hitting on the break. Johnny Tapia none too pleased with what Johnson is doing. Goes after him a little bit. I think Tapia is mad because Johnson's using his head a little bit on the inside. And I don't mean thinking.
Again, Tapia, much the busier fighter here in this final round, and you would think Johnson trying to press and cut him off, but still not throwing much. Ooh, good left to the body and a good right hand. Got a lot of leverage on that one to Tapia.
And now it's Johnson pursuing, but Tapia doing such a good job of counter-punching.
One thing to pursue as a target, another thing to pursue and throw, but then he has a pretty good left hook, Johnson.
Well, they wanted Johnson to land left hooks and uppercuts. He hasn't done that as much in his bout as they would have liked him to. There were moments for that left hook from Johnson. There's the right. That's really been his best weapon.
That was a good right hand by Johnson.
Very good matchup. This really has been interesting. 2 young boxers who both have skills.
Tapia wanting the crowd to get into this.
Going to pay attention to Johnson.
Tapia boxing Johnson with one hand and trying to get the crowd into it with the other. Still doing it. Still asking for the crowd. And the crowd responds in kind. Pretty good action. How about this? On their feet here at Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
The total punches, as you take a look at him, Tapia pulling away a bit, and you can see how many more he threw. Much more active, and his accuracy level about the same as Johnson, but because he threw so many more, chances are, according to our punch profile and according to my scores, Johnny Tapia is the winner, but you know who counts? Only the judges.
And we'll find out from the judges as we go to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I give the official scoring, let's have a round of applause one more time for Johnny Tapia and John Michael Johnson. Here's the official scoring. Greg Hughes scores the bout 78-74. Aaron Kaiser has it 78-75. And Bob Cox scores it 79-75 for the winner by unanimous decision, Johnny Tapia.
Nice gesture by Johnny Tapia, but his legs are tired enough that he almost didn't get John Michael Johnson up. There's your winner, Johnny Tapia.